Hey, what's up, and welcome to Big Black Clock Podcast. I think it's episode 3 right now. I'm Karl. I'm with Kevin today,
What's up?
and Dmitri.
Hey guys,
You've made it. You made it to episode 3.
surprising here.
This one's not a mouthful, not yet.
not yet.
Not
We
a
will be.
mouthful. So what are we talking about today, guys?
The age-old question of 3 watches for XYZ budget, and today we decided to go with $3,000 Canadian, used or new.
Okay, so we're saying like a 3-watch roll, right?
Yep.
You're traveling, and you can't have an average store one on your wrist. It's what's in the roll. $3,000 Canadian, new or used.
Yes,
There you
Yeah.
go.
And
All right.
what are you going to buy with that money?
watches.
And you have to spend all of it, which is
So I also think we had a caveat to it too. We said can't all be from the same place. So we said one German,
Yep.
one Swiss, one Japanese,
Yep.
and
one of them has to be a quartz.
quartz. Good.
So we did said that, but I forgot. But lucky me, it still worked. So everything's okay.
Which one did you forget?
Just the countries. For me, I went just 3K and 3 watches.
Oh, really? You forgot
Everything.
the whole
Everything
country
else.
component.
Yeah.
I mean, that was
Uh,
a tough question.
There's a lot of words.
Yeah. I don't know. That's why we repeated the entire subject.
Some countries are pretty far, so it's okay to forget. Yes.
So, how do you want to do it? So we say all 3 watches, or we go 1 watch each?
I think we go around the table. We start with which country. We talk about countries now, Carl.
What?
Countries.
And then we share that. And we just go around and shit on each other and
Okay.
whoever has the better watch.
But
I thought shitting was after. So this is the watch podcast.
yeah, before that, I think it's time for a wrist check.
Right.
So I'll go with Kevin first.
Okay, yeah. So today I am wearing my Autodromo Group B Corsica dial. So it's an independent brand from the US under Bradley Price. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Autodromo, but definitely worth getting into them or taking a look at what they offer. So I had the chance to see a few. Actually, I was in France a couple of years back, and I'm in this small watch shop, and they had Autodromo.
So we're in Canada, and you bought a US watch in Europe.
France is a different
No.
country.
I didn't buy it there. What I'm saying is I actually saw his brand overseas, which normally you would just find locally, right? And but this guy, which more for you, Karl, is a car guy at heart. Everything is auto inspired. Everything is auto design inspired. So the watch is
That dial is literally based from a Lancia Delta Integrale
Yeah.
Evo, cluster. It's the same thing.
Oh, really? I mean, I like that. I know that car. I actually really like that car.
Yeah, it's just, if you look at the cluster, it's the same. Like the ends.
I'll be honest, I don't know those details.
Are literally the same.
It's
so
a nice
if you ever had a
watch.
chance to take a look at it, so for anyone as well who's really into cars, this
And
would be a really, really good, I would just say brand in general. So what it is, it's I think what gives it a lot of cachet, it has an integrated bracelet. So that's also something that's really hot. They came out with this crazy Group B Safari edition this year. So the steel itself as well is like this green, and it's all based on like this idea of driving through mountains, desert roads, and snow-covered woodlands, that sort of thing. So it's like it's all based on these East African safari rallies, but this one was very particular. The watch itself has a Miyota. I think it's a high beat, so 9000 series Miyota. It's really thin. I think it's like 9 millimeters thin. It's also 39 millimeters, and the bracelet is exceptional. I've especially for an independent brand, they really don't cut any corners. But that thing is automatic, and it's 9 millimeters thick.
What's the movement?
It's a Miyota 9039? 9015, sorry. So it's a hacking mechanical movement. So it's hacking as well, exactly. But it's a really great watch. I really like it. So that's what I'm wearing today.
Cool.
Karl,
Yes.
What are you wearing today?
A watch.
Yeah, this is a watch podcast. So
yeah.
it makes sense.
And pants.
and pants.
Fortunately.
This is the one piece of clothing he chose today. Thank God it's not a shirt.
I have my Tudor Heritage Ranger. Love that watch. It's my first big watch, let's say, my first real Swiss. And recently I've stopped wearing the camel NATO that comes with it.
Mhm.
As some people know, that camel NATO is build fabric by the same nuns or the same company at least that does the all the robes for the Pope.
With the Vatican,
Yeah. So that's really special. But recently I'm wearing it on
They're also the same nuns that make the dresses for Chanel.
So is this like a meteorite dial? It's like a Pope robe.
It's nonsense.
Yeah. So like I was saying, I'm wearing it right now on the I forgot the brand.
Tudor.
Rios.
Rios, 1931.
Rios bands that I got from my birthday this year from some people.
They're German.
Some really cool people, I might say.
They're okay. They could be better, I think.
So
as good as you deserve.
So I really like what Tudor is doing now. I really think that they stepped up their game, and I'll explain just in a second. Just I feel that so this watch has an ETA movement, right? And then recently, I found that for a while people, like I saw all their black bays they were offering, everything was an ETA, and then they went in and started putting in their in-house movements, their manufacture calibres. And even if they were taking movements from Breitling and modifying them, they got away with it because they had such nice designs, I found. Like this Ranger is wonderful. And then when you look at the Black Bay 58 now, I can't say that I was that impressed with the new blue one, the Blue Bay.
Navy blue?
Yeah. Because, anyway, it's just me. I think it's a great vintage, whatever, the look. But the movement that they put in the Black Bay 58, I find so impressive. Because they actually had their in-house movement. Their first one was in the North Flag. So that North Flag is like, very much like your Tudor Ranger, an explorer's watch. It has that time reserve. Have you seen it? It's the integrated bracelet.
Yeah, the time reserve is always yellow on take on.
That's right.
Yeah.
And the yellow second hand and they have like yellow indices, right? And very explorer dial, kind of 100-meter water resistant steel bracelet. That had an in-house movement, their first one. And the movement was too big to fit in their Black Bay 58. And they said, we're going to make an in-house movement that's smaller. And that thing has 70-hour power reserve. It's really quite impressive what they've done the last few years. And they even did it with their Black Bays before, even the big ones that were ETAs. And they're like, no, we're going to start putting in our in-house movements. So a lot of respect for them. However, I find that their new watches, I find there's some, for myself, some design miscues. Like their chronograph is in their diving segment, but it has a tachymeter bezel. And weird things, like, and the hands are so big, they kind of cover the registers when you're timing. There's certain times you can't see the register. There's like weird, I find challenges there, but that watch is great that you're wearing.
Yeah. Last thing before we switch to Dima, if I'm not mistaken, the Ranger now is out of production, right? So
who is it?
Yeah. Can't find them on their site anymore. No.
Yeah, so it's time to look for one if you want one. If you like something and look a bit more older, I say, maybe more classic with the cream numerals and indicators.
Yeah, it has like a sand cream Explorer dial. So you have the 36912, no date, red second hand, and has those like, the markers are not like those Black Bays, like not the snowflake hands. It has like that arrow, right?
Yeah.
So like those old Explorers.
So, Dmitri, what are you wearing today besides your Fitbit?
I'm wearing my Seiko Sumo, green Hulk Sumo. I bought it recently because I really like the Seiko SKX that I've had, and I've mentioned this before already. It's just that I wanted to get a nicer quality Seiko diver, than a classic SKX. And I think Sumo, despite being a relatively large watch, fits perfectly on my wrist. It doesn't really sit like a 45 millimeter watch. It fits much smaller because the lugs are very short. But this watch is a lot of quality for the price. So it has a sapphire crystal. It's the same 200 ISO certified water resistance, but it has a new Seiko NH35 movement. That's a 70-hour power reserve.
No. It's not an NH35.
So
6R
6R35.
6R35.
6R35, yeah. 6R35.
So it's different from
I
mine,
stand
right?
corrected.
I have a 6R15 and you're 6R35, so
It's the power reserve that's the difference.
right.
Yeah. So it has the sapphire crystal. The only thing it doesn't have, I think, that it should, for that price also should, it should have a ceramic bezel, but it doesn't.
Right.
Right, it has an aluminum bezel, and I think they should have upgraded that.
But you also changed something on it too, right?
Well, yeah. As soon as I bought it, I changed it, and I bought the strap code Jubilee bracelet, or Super Angus J.
Angus J, they call, yeah.
Because the standard Seiko bracelet is not very good. But that Seiko is very famous for that anyways.
You know, and you're on YouTube, a lot of people it's weird, a lot of people love, they're like, no, the best bracelet is the original one. And you're like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, but it's
Sometimes they really like
same thing with cars and mags, right? People,
purists.
yeah,
Purists.
only going to keep the original ones.
For cars, I am a purist for sure. But let's say I kind of agree. When I got my SKX, I got the one with the Jubilee, and even though it's not a good quality, I love that bracelet. I actually also purchased one from Strapcode. It was an oyster style, but I pretty much didn't like it as much as I liked the Jubilee.
Right.
So it was.
You went back to it after.
Well, I didn't really go back, but I've worn the Jubilee for a while, and then I switched to the Strapcode, but then I sold the watch.
So when are you going to buy the SKX again?
I don't think I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I will.
Do it.
Well, yeah. I mean, the easy answer is yeah, but
Just do it. Like stop talking and do it right now.
Just press add to cart.
What was it this week that you said, Dmitri, when who was you? You're like, oh, I really need to get, and you're like, no, it was you who said, I really need to buy this, and you're like, do it now, do it now.
Yeah.
So what was it? I don't know what it was.
I don't remember. Was it a watch?
Oh, of course, it was
Yeah,
watch.
for sure.
Yeah.
You're like, fuck, I really want this, and you're like, do it.
Do it now. Yeah. So
I think I was basically I was looking at the new Seiko diver lineup, right? And one of them looks, and they've changed, right? Because before they used to make those crazy 45 millimeter size watches, but now they've released a lineup of watches that look like they're 40 millimeters. I can't remember what the name is, but they're for the Japanese market, and they are thin. They're 40 millimeter dial sizes, and they're very, let's say, affordable. Like they're just a little over 1,000, I think. So it's the same Sumo price.
I think the watch he's talking about.
They're gorgeous watches.
I think the one he's talking about is this one here. He's talking about the SBDC 105 or the 101, made in Japan.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So if you see one of them, the one that you just mentioned, the SBDC 105, this one kind of has a bit of a BB58 colors going on.
It has the gilt.
Yeah.
But
Beautiful watch.
But the dial is like not
gorgeous.
quite dark.
Oh, it's
not quite black, It's like this.
it's matte-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I think
it's also the way they show. I'm sorry, it's just the way they took a picture on this website. It's like Hodinky, right? When they show watches, it looks more matte than they don't. It's not.
So I think it's supposed to mimic one of their most famous divers that Seiko had in the past was called the 62 Mass.
Yeah, the classic one they just re-released, right?
Exactly.
They re-released it recently, and people were complaining because it was overpriced.
Oh yeah, it was like $5,000 for the 62. This one, it's called the SLA 017. This one.
Yeah.
$5,000.
Yeah, something like that.
That's Billy Gus money.
And I'm sorry, $5,000 US.
What?
Yeah. Well, it's like their ultra. How can I say? They're like the most legendary, one of the most legendary high end divers.
Wasn't this like the original, one of the original divers that Seiko ever made, and they just reproduced the same exact case shape?
And there's and these are the new interpretations of them that you're talking about, Dmitri. So here it is.
It's $4,000 US watch, and obviously people were not happy. So I feel like they just released a lineup of, let's say, sumo priced watches that are exactly the same shape. I honestly didn't see this before I bought my Sumo, and if I saw it, I might have bought this instead.
Oh,
Because
interesting.
it's so, but it's just as much as I love the Sumo, I also love that. I'm probably not gonna sell Sumo. I'm probably just gonna buy another one like this at some point.
So it has the same movement as your Sumo.
Does it?
Yeah. 6R35 with a 70-hour power reserve.
That's fantastic. But I'm assuming, right, for that specific price category, it's going to be very similar.
Seiko tends to do that, right? They have a watch and they put in a movement and they put it in across the board, you know?
Right.
So it's like you can have their Turtle has their 4R35 and the Samurai, you know, there were those, they were all, that's the NH35,
Yeah.
right? It's the equivalent. And then they kind of have it across the board.
NH35. So I'm trying to remember. So NH35. I'm confusing. The Alpinist that I purchased had 6R15.
Yep.
Right.
That's what my
That one-
Sumo has.
Right. It was basically. What is NH35? Is it the new SKXs, the Seiko 5s that are new NH35?
Yes.
Okay.
But they're not NH35. NH35 is the 4R35. But the difference is that the NH35 are movements that are sold outside of Seiko, but it's the same movement.
Oh, okay, I see.
So if you're an independent brand, you see them a lot. They put in a Seiko NH35. But the equivalence in the Seiko line is a 4R35, but it's the same thing.
It's a gorgeous watch.
Very gorgeous watch. He's looking at that SBDC.
105. Yeah. That's a beautiful watch, and it looks fantastic on the rubber strap. Oh. Yeah, definitely on my list right now. I think I'm going to add it to my list. This is beautiful. I love that shape of a watch, of a diver. The only problems that Seiko used to have, and they still do, the lineup of similar shaped cases, but they're like 45 millimeters, right? They're just too big. Because this one doesn't have very short lugs. I think they're pretty decent.
No, I think that's a great looking watch. It even comes in a steel bracelet.
And it's only it's 13. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's gorgeous.
I would definitely get it on the steel because of one thing. I will tell you, if you have a Seiko, guys, you want to add a rubber bracelet, get the GL35 bracelet, the reissue, on Uncle Seiko's website. It is remarkable, the rubber. It's like $39, but it is the best rubber bracelet that you can put on a dive watch. That's Seiko because it mimics the GL35.
What is the name of the brand again?
Uncle Seiko.
Okay, they sell rubber.
They sell. If you go to Uncle Seiko and look at the GL35, remarkable rubber bracelet. And I bought it from my Seiko SKX and my vintage 6309.
Disgusting. All of them.
Uncle Seiko does some really great things.
So I guess this is it for the opening part.
Yeah, we'll close that. Thanks. We're all drinking too.
Thanks for interrupting when I was talking.
Always.
It's very polite.
Yeah.
I mean, if you guys haven't noticed yet, we are very polite here. We never interrupt each other.
No, never.
We just talk over.
Yes.
But yes, please, Karl, continue. I've lost my train of thought. So yeah, please.
Cool. Perfect. Like I was saying, me and Kevin were drinking some Maker's Mark whiskey.
Yeah.
And Dmitri is just
They're
drinking.
not paying us. So he's just saying the name. We're not getting paid for this.
No,
but if they want to send over a case,
yep.
If you guys want to send us money or a case of more alcohol, please
let us know. We'll give you an address.
We'll try. Every time we drink something, we'll say their name. One day, who knows?
Who knows?
Right? Even if it's a shitty alcohol, we won't judge.
Exactly.
I mean, we only. Actually, no, I take it back. No, we only drink good alcohol. Please send us money.
So now's that time of the show. Do we get this started?
Yeah, let's go.
Cheers.
Santé.
Cheers, guys.
Salud. Na zdarowie. L'chaim.
Prost.
Prost, yeah. Good author. All right.
Good F1 racer, too.
Yeah. So, where do we start? What country?
Well, let's go with Germany. Why not? They start a lot of things, so let's just start with that country.
So, who's going to start? How about you, Dmitri?
Okay, so just go back to the task that we had at hand to choose 3 watches for 3K Canadian. the criteria were such that you have to choose one Swiss, one German, and one Japanese, and one of those three watches has to be quartz. My first watch, and we were starting with German, the one that I decided to choose in that watch roll, is Zin 556.
So this one is used, unless
Brand new, actually.
brand new.
Is it? I mean, it's brand new. It's $1,500 Canadian brand new. So, considering the other two watches that I chose, it will fit in the budget. There's no reason, right? And I chose. I kind of. I mean, it depends on the person too. I kind of like new watches. I like to to peel off the plastic, and I like to wear a watch that has zero scratches and everything.
I can give you a used watch with plastic on it. I mean, I could do that.
Well, I mean, there's no rational thinking here, right? It's. I like the smell of a new watch, basically. But again, it's not necessarily something that you always get. Yeah.
So, your Zin, is it which 556 is it?
It's the 5.5. Well, I mean, look, there are different ones. There are some with bracelets and stuff. I don't like the bracelets, to be honest. They make him. I don't.
Tooly.
The Zin bracelets, they make him look very tooly. If you get a Zin 556 on the leather, so it's 556i.
But there's also one, isn't there like an A? There's one with like the numbers, and there's one with just the markings, right? Because there's the 104
It's possible.
with the. Hold on, yeah. So just
Possible.
make sure, yeah.
I chose. Well, the other thing is that to be able to fit the budget, I have to choose something that's not on a bracelet, right? Because bracelet adds like about a couple $100 also.
I might be wrong. I think it's just a 556.
Can you buy just a bracelet later on? With
Oh no.
Zin?
So there's the 556 like this, which is the I. Dmitri.
Yeah.
The I like this, or there's the A.
Right. So then there's an H-link bracelet, and there's also like an oyster style.
But look at the dial. There's the I,
Right.
and there's the A.
And what's the difference for people who don't see?
So the I is
The one that I chose is the I, the one that doesn't have Arab numerals. It has just the markings, right?
Mm-hmm.
But on a leather band instead of a bracelet.
It's a nice watch.
It's a beautiful watch. And then I kind of fell in love with that watch again because I started looking through the
Look at that.
specs, and this watch is it's only 38 millimeter case.
Mm-hmm.
It's only 11 millimeters thick, right? So it's super thin. It fits on a wrist like easily under a cuff, no problem. If you put that watch on a leather band, it kind of looks like a dress watch. You can wear it to events and stuff.
Oh yeah.
But at the same time, if you see that watch, because that watch is kind of like a khaki field, I'd say. I think it's officially like like a pilot style, let's say, watch, right?
Yeah.
But like most of the Zen stuff. But it looks very much like a khaki style watch. If you notice, the case is not, the case is bead dusted, I think, right? It's matte. So for sure it's going to be more scratch resistant. And the other thing that I noticed that's fantastic about this watch is that it's a 200 meter water resistance. So that
So you
watch
can do
is
everything
literally
with
it's just an everyday watch.
Yeah.
That's why in my
It's an everything watch. It's
pretty
every
much
day.
like in my
every day and everything.
in my watch roll, this is basically the most expensive watch, and I think that watch will just get the most wrist time
Mhm.
because you can just wear it for every single occasion. It just works for everything.
You know what I love about it? I think that it's the weirdest thing. I love that it has a small crown guard. I think it makes it angle so well. If it didn't have the crown guard, I don't think I'd like it as much.
Yep.
I love that the black pieces or the black markings of the hand is like matte. I love
Yep.
that.
I agree. Yep.
And I see what you're saying, pilot, because this is very pilot style, the hands, right?
Well, I mean, as far as I understand, Zin is originating as from aviation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of their watches are all like pilot watches,
Mhm.
not necessarily pilot watches, but watches that are inspired by some sort of aviation in general,
Mhm.
right? So yeah, this is my first watch. The only thing about, I mean, it's a scratch resistant sapphire, right? It's a Celita SW 200 movement. So the only downside about that watch, I think, is that the power reserve is 38 hours.
Mhm.
But that honestly is not a problem. If you wear it every day, you never put it out. It's
Well,
fine.
I think it's a decent sacrifice to have a lower power reserve if it's going to be on a 38 millimeter case and be under 12 millimeter thick.
It's 11 millimeters thick. It's
Exactly.
It's perfect.
And it probably would be, if you wanted to get 70, I'd either go up a lot in price or...
I think I'm going to buy it. It's definitely going on my list.
Definitely.
It's,
Yeah.
It's on the list.
It's on the list.
do it. But yeah, too, at that price, I don't think you can argue too much, right?
Not really.
I'll be honest.
It's a lot of watch I find for that price.
I don't even have to think that watch. I think if you look at a pricing segment, I find that Zin kind of owns that like that $1,000 to $2,500 range right before you get into like Tudor, and it's like
Longines.
Yeah,
that's a good segment for them.
Yeah, I think what Longines is doing now is much better than they were just like a few years back.
Agreed. Yeah.
More identity. I think they're killing it these days. But yeah.
So yeah, that's my first watch. Let's just continue with the German watches, and
we'll do a round table.
To Karl.
Yeah. Thank you, Dmitri.
You're very welcome.
So that watch has been on my list for quite some time now, and I just need to go and do it and buy it.
Do it.
So it's the Nomos Club Campus 38, and the reference is the 737. So that's with the open case back. If you have the closed back, it's 735.
Mm-hmm.
You can find it. I found it online for 1,500 Canadian use, and if you go on Nomos website, they go for 2,400. But that's include tax, the shipping, and even consider the they even consider any other fees. So it's 2,400 your door.
So there's a NAC version, right? Which is the dark dial, right?
Yep.
That's not the one you have. You have the
the white dial, blue numerals, and then indicators. And it's not a California dial. It's called the bilingual dial.
Yeah.
Because the Roman numerals are at the bottom. So you have 4 and 8, and you have the 10, 12, and 2. It's Arabic numerals on top. When it's California dial, it's inverted.
And the seconds is a sub-second hand, right? It's not a second hand as such. It's a small second register.
So all the indicators, numerals, and the ends have a superluminova. So it's a really bright blue too.
Which is nicer than I find in the green sometimes. Having that blue. Yeah, I like that.
I like that watch, especially for that too. It's the contrast with the orange too. There's everything is contoured with orange. Same thing with the sub-second end, right?
Yeah.
Super thin watch.
Yeah.
It's 8.5 millimeters.
Yeah.
It's manual. It's not automatic.
Yeah, I think the movement itself without the casing is something like 3 millimeters.
2.6.
Oh, there you go.
2.6.
Yeah.
43 hours.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
Right. They call it the Alpha.
That's
manual.
That's
Alpha manual is the name of the movement.
So that the Alpha swing movement, when you're talking about, my Tangente doesn't have that. It came out before that, and that started appearing in the Neomatic.
Yeah, and I was reading on Nomos, and even they're saying that they're renowned for their manual movement, but more and more now automatics.
Yeah.
And when you look at their lineup, it's almost 50-50 now.
And that's the thing when you look at their Neomatic or their new sports watches and whatnot, and they're like, well, you could put it in a smaller case, right? But now you have like that Tangente Sport that's like 42 millimeters. And you go, well, you have such a thin movement. That was kind of their deal. And, I think Nomos, when it came out they had like this maxi small, one of their first offerings, a lot of people almost mistook it for a girl's watch because it was like 35 millimeters. People are like, not made for a guy.
It's really thin.
Yeah.
But it's almost gentle looking.
But the thing is about these Nomos is that they have such thin bezels that they wear a lot larger than they look.
Yeah.
A lot, because they really, really have a big wrist presence. In fact, my 38 millimeter Tangente, I wore it out one day and the guy even said, man, isn't it too large, that one? Shouldn't you have gotten like the 33 or 35? And I was like, no, it's fine.
Yeah. Is it a real 38? Because the Club Campus 38, it's technically 38.5.
It's a 30.5. Yeah. It's 30.5.
And it's 10 atmosphere for the water resistance, so it's good for swimming.
It's pretty good too.
It's 100 meters, yeah.
A GMT Master is 10 bar.
That's right.
And the only caveat is at that price, it's not on the bracelet or anything else. It's the calf leather bands.
They have no steel bracelet. They have one that just came out.
Yeah, I remember you tried to just buy it as is, and I
tried to buy it. Yeah,
they tell you politely go away.
Yeah,
Go away.
Yeah, but the woman's like, yeah, I'll call Nomos, absolutely. And then she called me, like, no, we can't get it. I was like, yeah, I told you. No, you can't get it.
But yeah, I feel it's that a watch I could wear for work, like from Monday to Friday. I think it could go with suits or just even like shirts, right?
Yeah, we work from home, by the way, nowadays.
Yes, but you get it what I'm. Thank you, Dima. So
Diva's that guy where you're like,
it's nice to record live.
Diva's that guy where, something happens and he'll just be like, I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so.
And I will tell you so.
Exactly. You want some advice? You shouldn't have done that. It's like, that's not advice.
but honestly, jokes aside, when I was choosing the 3 watches, I kind of took into consideration the fact that we are not really going to the office anymore, right? So, like, your daily watch doesn't necessarily have to be a dress watch, right?
Well, for
That's
me,
a
it's
very good point.
yeah. Well,
No
I
wonder-
never all my watches. I just wear all of them with suits. I don't.
Oh,
really
that's
give a
true.
shit.
I mean, yeah, sure. Look, I wore my SKX to work when we were going back to work, right? It was tough to fit under a cuff, but it worked.
But I wonder, that's a very good point. Observation you're making there, Dmitri. Do you think that companies are aware of that?
Well, look, like if and everything kind of comes in waves, right? And what I mean is that certain trends in watchmaking,
Like COVID.
comes
in waves.
like coronavirus. It does.
Comes in waves.
Sometimes waves are so big they're still there in certain countries.
Exactly.
The trends are such that maybe for a little while the dress watches will kind of be less popular just because there's nowhere to wear them unless you go to like a formal occasion. But then you will go back. They will resurge again. That's for sure. I just don't see why not, because it's such an amazing, style of a watch. It's not gonna go away. Maybe it'll just be less, let's say, popular for a bit. Maybe they'll just produce fewer dress watches than other styles, but it's not gonna go away. I don't think so.
I agree.
So, next one is Kevin.
Well,
what do you take for German?
You kind of took what I had taken.
No, you took what I had taken.
And
Exactly.
you have taken what I have taken. It's like a vicious circle here.
The second most expensive on my list. It's the Nomos Club 703. So that's the one with the exhibition caseback, Sapphire exhibition caseback, to see the movement. And when I found it, about $12.50 Canadian. You could find one, yeah.
Use?
Yeah, of course. If you find a good enough conditioned and are patient, you can get the one with the exhibition caseback. If not at $12.50, you're probably looking at big severe thunderstorm outside. Oh,
It's okay. That's living in the suburb.
we've angered the gods.
Which one is that? It's not Poseidon, right? Because there's no sea near us.
Top Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
That's Tom Cruise.
Scientology.
No, is it Scientology? Yeah, but isn't the guy who runs
The god of science.
Scientology some guy named Ron or something? Like, it's just some dude from the
I think
60s?
you're not wrong.
No, I don't think I'm wrong. I think it's some guy from the 60s and his name is Ron. Or Tom or some
It's Ron Hubbard. It is, you're right. No, it is.
What
You
year?
just Google it.
You just Googled.
Yeah, just Google it. It is a guy named Ron.
All hail Ron
Who
Hubbard.
else can start something like Scientology other than
Oh,
Ron?
man. South Park burned them so much.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man! Just to go back on the Nomos. Earlier, I was thinking that the new price was $2,400 for my 737, and they do 12 installment, no interest on Nomos website, straight from factory. Any watch.
No way.
Yeah, I put it in my notes because I was like impossible,
So-
and I read it to it, and it's
So that's less than that's what, $120 bucks a month?
well. The thing is, for $1,000 less, I can get it used. $1,000. Is it worth it, right? For having it new from factory. It's 3 months wait period right now for having a watch built for you. But any watch on Nomos website, they just need to pre-approve your credit card to see that you have the funds, so you don't skip payment.
Oh my god.
But yeah, it's 12 installment, free of charge,
Interest free?
interest free.
I didn't see that. Interest free?
Yeah.
That is very difficult to believe. But I mean, look, they want your money.
And you continue talking about why you chose your Nomos. I'll
Yeah.
pull out the website.
So to me, and you'll see based on my other picks, I think this one is kind of like yours, Dmitri. It's my go everyday watch. 100 meter water resistance. This one has as well as
Very
yours.
impressive. Is that a screw down crown?
I think so. I don't know. Actually, it might not.
No, eh? But it's still 100 meters is pretty good.
But like we said, it's a myth, right? The screw down. It's
Yeah,
it
yeah,
helps with-
yeah.
The Alpha Caliber in it, so it's the new one. Yep, and I think that it.
So I just saw there's a picture on the internet of this watch having the Rulo bracelet, like you mentioned.
The
last
Rulo, the Rulo
time. It's
bracelet.
a cool bracelet.
Yeah, and I think it's been discontinued, if I'm not mistaken.
It says discontinued. Yeah.
So on the most websites, sorry, Dima.
on the most websites.
Yeah. So no extra hidden cost. 0 interest.
For how long?
How does it
12. It's 12 payment, and the first one when you put the you get the watch
That's pretty good.
on almost any watch.
They have a
Resist,
very nice
resist.
But you know,
It's very tough.
But yeah,
I think-
so for the
think
737, it's 188 a month.
it's nothing. I think they should all do this. Every brand, instead of forcing you to go through an unauthorized dealer, but it's because not every brand sells direct to customer. That's the thing.
They should sell direct to customer.
Hell yeah.
But it's gonna change, right? This is the internet is relatively new considering how old watchmakers are, right?
Yeah.
So it will take some time to adjust. Plus, they also probably, I think the biggest reason is because a lot of the watch brands, they developed this niche where they maintain prices very sky high because of low supply and high demand, right? So they're just afraid venturing into the web because that will affect prices probably, right? Either they will be always unavailable and pointless to go to the website and try to buy it if it's always out of stock. Or if they make it available, then the prices will go down because they'll just be more
But
available.
I already feel that way going to dealers.
Yeah.
I step into, like, look, you go into a certain shop downtown and they have a few brands and they're empty, their cases.
I don't understand, to be honest. I'm sorry. You go to a Rolex store, every single watch that people like is never available,
Never.
right? Why wouldn't they just get one sample of each watch and don't sell it? Just let people try it at least.
Someone wants to pay for it. Yeah, but no. Okay, I
know
think
they
I
don't
can
have
answer
to.
that.
I know they don't have to.
But I think I can answer that. What will it give you to go try it on, then say, I want it, and then say, well, I can't. And it's like, yeah, but you have this one right here. Let me buy it. Sorry, you can't. So you can try it on, but you can't even buy it.
Oh, sure.
It's almost like it's,
I understand.
It's even worse to me.
I understand. But then I'll be honest. To me, a Rolex boutique is pointless
I agree.
because there's no point going there. You're never going to see a watch that you want to see.
Unless you're that guy.
Yeah, or the only point is
Or
to
girl.
get on the list.
No, but the point of actually seeing the watch in person,
Agreed.
it's impossible.
No, if you could get, look, Dmitri has never seen, I think that's a good point. He's never seen or tried on the GMT Master 2, the Pepsi. He saw the Batman, but he's never saw the Pepsi. You won't see it in the wild. But are you ready to buy
I've
it?
seen it in the wild. Yeah, I've seen it in the
Oh,
wild
okay,
once.
okay.
Actually, when I was biking last week with my friends, my friend's father was wearing a vintage
too bad.
GMT Master Pepsi
Too bad he
with like a really faded
the old one.
red. Yeah, very nice,
Very nice.
very nice.
If you didn't know the guy, he might have robbed him.
Yeah, too bad, too bad. Any other guy would have robbed him.
There's even custom engraving on the most website.
Almost, yeah. Back to it. Yeah,
What-
they custom engrave on the back.
Oh man.
Actually, a good question. Would you get a custom engraving on your watch? Because I feel like it's more difficult to sell after if you want.
Yeah,
to
but
sell
you can
it.
always change the case back.
Okay, but that's gonna cost you money.
Yeah, but like you can have a watch like this one. It says "fuck you, Kevin" on it.
I mean,
who wouldn't
no,
want
for sure.
that?
Who doesn't want
Who doesn't
that? right?
want that? Merry Christmas.
Like,
It's okay.
unless it's a gift, I don't really see a value in engraving your own watch.
I think it's sentimental.
Unless there's some sort of like if it's a gift or something.
Anthony could get his thing engraven and because he give it to his kid. He doesn't give a shit.
That's true.
Just gonna give it to his kid. It's like, you don't want it? Figure it out.
But he's gonna go do it himself with a knife.
Like, Crayola marker. Oh shit! I spelled my name wrong.
So you're done with your
First
numbers?
watch.
Yeah, but I just wanted to say, consideration. I couldn't find one to fit within the price range, but I think if I gone German these days with what's offering, I would have gone with Mont Blanc. I would have found a Mont Blanc watch, but they're just too expensive to fit in my category. I would have needed a Mont Blanc, a Casio Wavemaster, and a Braun alarm clock. That's
What
it.
we didn't establish is that you can just spend $3,000 on one watch.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
$29.99, yeah,
And
or
get a
$3,000.
Casio for $10.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's what I was thinking. I was like, no, I don't want to do that either. Because then it would have been.
It's fun. Yeah,
Well,
it was fun. It's kind of
you
cheating.
could have.
I could have. We had this conversation before. We were like, if you have 20 grand, we're like,
But then we could have just said, let's just choose one watch for $3,000.
Yeah, but
right?
that could be
Instead of
funny if like we all take our time and they're just giving go, fuck you guys.
exactly.
I have one watch.
I have one watch at $29.95, and for the other $3, I'm getting a used Casio. A used.
I use Casio. It's like
Pawn shop
$3.
Casio.
Amazon Prime free shipping, so that doesn't count.
Oh god. So what's after German?
So I'll go again. Let's go with Japanese, right? So remember, we had
Teammates.
to choose one.
What did you say?
Teammates. We go neutral right down the middle after.
You're not wrong. But anyways,
He's not wrong, but he's an asshole.
A lot of hostility today.
this
Yeah,
is-
naked aggression. Naked
I'm
aggression.
naked?
well, I mean, you're just wearing shorts.
It just is pretty hostile.
So yeah, so the second watch is Japanese. Remember the one thing they also discussed that one of them has to be quartz. So my second watch, the Japanese, is the quartz. And the one that I decided to go with is the Full Metal G-Shock. The reason for that is because Casio just released last year, 2 years ago, very recently, the full metal version of the classic G-Shock. I mean, G-Shock doesn't really need any introduction, right? It's a beautiful watch. It does pretty much everything. It's quartz. It's very precise. The difference is that now it's full metal, and it has a bunch of new technologies. It's solar powered. It also has Bluetooth, so it syncs and it gives you perfect time.
Perfect time.
The only downside, I think, the battery doesn't last as long as the original G-Shock. It only lasts 2 years, up to 2 years, I think. But it's an easily replaceable battery, so it's not an issue. But that for $500 Canadian, you can get a watch that looks nice and expensive, but is a beater you can wear absolutely anywhere and never even care about.
I think we don't consider how not only cool, but all the history behind G-Shock, all the history behind Casio. They're great. I like what they have to offer.
Well, that original watch, if I'm not mistaken, was 1982 or 1980 or something. That was
That
originally
model.
created, that specific model.
But
They
you have
never changed it.
you have that book, A Man in His Watch.
Yep.
And he talks about that G-Shock, it started with that ball, right?
Yeah. A plus side on the plus metal is you can knock out people with it and don't feel bad about it.
That's very
It's a plus side. Well,
Sure.
I'm saying that because he kind of stole my watch too. I have exactly the same watch as Dima on my list. So
That just proves to everybody that this is a good watch. Right?
how terrible your taste is.
you found it at
Well, I
$5.
actually own it, so it's like oh, you guys taste like you own the fucking thing.
But that's why I know it's shit.
It's terrible.
When you said $500, is it used or new? You found it at a price?
No, that's
It's
new.
about $600 new.
Because
Canadian.
I was looking at Crow 24 and the cheapest I found was $682.
I
used.
I
That's
bought
too
it.
much.
I bought it brand new, and I paid $630.
But nobody asked you.
Well,
Well, I mean, he's here,
Price
and he has a
Yeah,
mic,
okay,
so
so
he should be talking to
$630,
us.
right?
it's price.
Amazon free shipping?
It was eBay.
You can find it.
eBay. No, absolutely, you can find it on eBay for less than $600.
I mean, like whatever, plus minus $100.
Why do you
it
pay
doesn't matter.
$630?
What?
So you can find it on eBay for like
He's talking
$600.
about used.
It doesn't matter if it's
Used.
plus minus $100, right? It doesn't have to be.
No. He's right.
But if you guys are wondering what that noise is, it's the
Drink
it's
time.
drinking, more drinking.
Drinky poo.
We're just putting ice in the glasses. Yeah. So this is the watch, my second watch, and I think this is it fills that gap for basically a watch that you can wear everywhere. You can wear it to the pool. I mean, you can still do that with the 556, right? But it's a bit nicer. Maybe you don't want to do it, especially in a leather band.
Exercise with it. You know what's really cool about that watch? I'm sure that it's something. It doesn't have screw or push pins in the. It doesn't have pinning collar or the typical push pins that a bracelet has. The bracelet, every link is composed of spring bars. So think about that for a second.
It's cool.
Every link is a spring bar. So it's a small spring bar.
Is it cool or is it like it's going to all fail at some point?
No, I don't think it'll fail. No more than a push pin.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Because the spring is never activated. You know what I mean? It only activates when you.
So if it's never
just-
activated, why is it?
So it's easier to change. You don't have to pry anything. You just need a small screwdriver. You just pull it out. You know, it's that kind of. It's like
Yeah.
a spring. It's like a spring. But and the other thing is that what makes a spring bar a pain in the ass is when you don't have drilled lugs and you're trying to get to the edge to pull it out. This it's
Yeah.
all exposed as it's open, so you just have to take a thing, go click it out. Right. It's really easy to do.
The other thing I wanted to add about the G-Shock, not the full metal one, but the original G-Shock, is that it's in the Guinness Book of Records, which is cool. I find it's very cool.
Really, for what?
So what they did is that they put it on the asphalt and had a truck run it over, and it didn't break, kept working, which is pretty amazing. I mean, like it's not something that you would ever do, and then there's never really a need to do this. But it's nice to know that a watch can withstand something like this.
And I think they don't try to oversell it or change what they are. They're like, this is what we make, and we're good at it.
They don't need to prove anything.
Yeah.
It's done deal, right?
If you like it, that's it.
I never seen an ad for a G-Shock.
Not really. They have their ads, but
Maybe when they just started making them, but at this point, there's such a cult following. I don't think you ever need.
yeah, no, there are people who are fanatics. Right?
There's another one that I want to buy. They just made basically like a Gerald Gento style. It's called I think they call it Cassie Oak. So it's an analog style G-Shock. You know what? I would love to do it, but it's impossible to purchase. It is just not available anywhere
The G8,
other than from scalpers that are selling them at like 4 times the price.
So you can do it still.
But if I was stupid, I
It's
would.
only excuses. Like you can buy one.
You can.
Okay,
But
do it.
if you don't know how to manage money, then you should definitely do it.
Let me talk about money. You just do it. So is it my turn to talk about my?
Please.
my
Please
So
talk
this is
about
Karl.
your
He
watch.
lives in his car, by the way,
Yeah.
because he did it.
Because he just buys
He
watches.
just did it.
He doesn't look at prices. He just adds to cart.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what I did with the podcast setup.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, I have a Casio G-Shock, full metal. Cool story, yeah.
Oh,
And the same color. None of them got the ionized.
Yeah, same, exactly the same thing as Dima. And but I'll explain later after my third watch why I choose this one.
Okay.
Right, so
But not now.
No, because
not during your
I
turn.
need to do the Swiss one first, and after that you'll understand why I
are
would
you going to wait
almost.
for a few podcasts to explain why you chose this in this podcast?
Yes, exactly. So in the 5 podcasts down the road, I'll try to explain that why
This is the conception.
exactly. But yeah, so I'll have to jump on this one because you pretty much said everything.
Yeah, well, so Kevin just brought a point, and I was looking at different materials, right? There's all the different variations of this watch. The only thing that I was thinking maybe that takes away from this watch is because the material is all very polished, right? It will scratch easily, probably, right?
Matte will be really nice.
Matte will be very nice.
They
Or
have.
if you get a different style, different bracelet,
They have.
you get a
matte metal?
I think they have titanium also. Well, so the thing is, you can get there's so many different versions, right? You can get a titanium watch
It is
that
like
comes with like a
1500.
rubber band instead of
You can get the
So
full
those-
metal G with and it's black and everything, and it's just the dial and it's rubber bracelet. That's right. And
Yeah.
same price.
Okay.
Uh,
So that could work also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But full metal is just so nice.
They have one that's blue metal, dark metal, polished metal.
Yeah.
They even have now the other G-Shock, which I really like, is the other iconic one is the 6900. Have you looked at it? This is the 5600. But Dmitri, why don't you look it up there? The 6900 is the one that has that massive button. So I have the 6900 BB.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a classic one as well. It's been around for a long time. That one, they also made a metal version of it as well. Exactly. So,
Maybe the metal one
No, I
is,
don't know if it's
is,
that
is the one that's gray here.
for some reason, it's the 66.
But yeah, you pretty much said everything that was on that watch because my notes were quartz, metal case, give time.
Like most watches do.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, listen, it's nice to know that, you also chose that same watch. It's because that watch is that good.
Yeah.
But for me, it was in third position. Like that was I had that amount of money left to choose it, and I went with this one.
Right.
There is no order for me. It's just I just went in the order of the way I wrote the watches down on my list there. There's really no particular order.
There's always orders. Something I like more than
Right.
others. Like I hate you less than Kevin.
Okay, that's nice. Thank you.
It's a
Is this a compliment? Or should I
No,
take
I
it?
hate you less.
Okay, thanks.
That's it.
That's nice.
So
Kevin?
Kevin, it's your turn to do with the Japanese.
Yeah. So, no, I think I already did the Japanese. No, didn't do Japanese?
No, it didn't.
No,
We did German.
we did German.
You did Nomos.
Wow, whiskey's hitting hard, eh?
No, because I'm searching at the same time. This is the one that I have. Sorry. The one I was talking about. Sorry. The other classic one I have is this one. This is a famous
What's the name of
G-Shock.
it?
This is the
For the people that are
69,
listening?
the DW 6900.
Nice.
DB, the black one, but it's the one with that button in the front. This is a pretty classic G-Shock that
Nice.
exists. So they also made this one in full metal.
I was also looking to buy the classic G-Shock that I have. I have like a regular plastic 5600
Yeah.
version G-Shock.
Mhm.
The most original one, right? I was also looking for the same exact version, but all black.
Oh yeah, the
That's good,
blackout. Yeah, that's
yeah,
really
blackout.
cool.
That's very cool.
It's called like the negative display, right?
Maybe.
Yeah, negative display. Yeah, because the display's black in it. Yeah. So for myself, for Japanese, it's my most expensive watch. It's at $1,300. I have an early '70s Grand Seiko 6145-8000 or 8010. So this model has the Grand Seiko written on the silver dial. It was marked with 8000 TAD at the 6 o'clock. The movement's marked with a 6154A, and both the Grand Seiko on the rotor. Yeah,
And you can get this watch for 1,300 Canadian.
approximately. Yeah, you can get a pretty low bad condition at 1100 and a good condition at 15.
Guess
So
what's
I went-
going on my list?
Yeah, it's good. It's great. Yeah.
Do it.
Do it. Yeah. So the later models had written under automatic under Seiko and dispensed with a Grand Seiko and had high beat 36,000 instead, and 80 TAD at the bottom of the dial, and the rotor has been marked Seiko. So I really like the vintage Grand Seikos and the vintage Seikos that you can get your hands on. You just have to make sure they haven't been like Frankenstein. There's a couple of good buyers or sellers out there that you can trust.
I absolutely love this watch.
Yeah, it's great. Huh?
I mean, we spoke about it during our last podcast, right?
Yeah.
There's no confusing a Japanese dress watch with any other watch. It's just you know right away when you see it.
But right now, I think you're both crushing on Japanese designs. Right?
Yes.
Yes. It's bias.
Well, it was the most expensive watch. Yeah,
Everything is bias. If it's an opinion.
exactly.
What?
Always with the logic, eh? You sure you hate him less than me? Is that you sure?
Not anymore.
Yeah. It's crossed the threshold.
Is it even now?
It's
Is
like
it
a
even
weird
now?
seesaw of hate. At the end of the day, he hates us both. It's just one more than the other. It's just who will he decide to leave in the ocean versus
It's a 36,000 beat.
high beat or proper high beat.
So when I'm assuming this was pre spring drive.
Of course.
This is a beautiful watch.
Yeah.
I'm really impressed.
So that you see the finishing on the hands, everything that it has to offer. Grand Seiko was, I think, really, and continues to be, but really back then overlooked at what you could get. And the vintage market is great.
It is beautiful.
I feel they're coming up. I feel they're more and more every year they're gaining on the market.
Yeah, since they branched off to be their own company, they're great. And you know how they're great? Hodinkee sells them, right? So you know they got cred.
Yeah, but Hodinkee selling Apple watches and a
Yeah.
table clock for $6,000 too, right?
I didn't like seeing that. Yeah.
They sell a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
And they promoting what they sell too.
Yeah, they got a huge backlash
But
for
no,
that table clock.
No talking bad. But anyway, yeah. So Grand Seiko, yeah, their offering has been great. I think that because even then I was looking at my short list, and if you want to look it up really quick, I was like, even if we're not in the going to the office like we're saying, the watch I'm really into is the SBGW231. That one is very similar.
Is it the one with cream dial?
No, that's the 221 you're saying. So kind of, yeah, but it's not cream like the GMT.
Mhm.
This one, look at this, Dmitri. Yeah, look at this, SBGW231. This is under 6,000 Canadian new. It has a manual wind, so it's super thin, 37 millimeters on the wrist, and I find that like Japanese perfection. It has the Grand Seiko written perfectly.
I feel like when I just close my eyes and imagine any dress watch, that's exactly what they look like.
Really?
It's like the simplest
Going
dress
back
watch.
to what you just said, I am really crushing on Japanese watches right
Yeah.
now.
Hard
It's
to.
just- It's so beautiful.
Hard to. Oh,
You fucked it up. You stop touching your iPad like that.
there you go.
Didn't do anything.
It likes
to you.
it.
Oh, this is so beautiful.
I know, eh?
You fucked it
It's-
up again. Unacceptable.
Definitely on my list. Yeah, definitely on my list.
On
Hey,
the list.
Dima, can I say one
Maybe
thing about
also
that?
a Corono.
Oh yeah,
And-
Kono looks like.
Ming is from Singapore, right?
Ming is Singapore. Yeah. Ming Tian.
So close enough. I love the new 1902 as well. Oh my god!
But that's their high-end series. The 17 series is more affordable.
But this is unbelievable.
What does it say? It said Japan something at the 6.
Movement, probably.
Just as Japan with
Oh.
the number of the movement.
Cool.
Cool.
So I was away from the mic. So
That's my
shall
Japanese watch.
Now it's a Swiss one, right?
Yeah, now it's a Swiss one.
So do you want to start this one, Kevin? Go the other way
Yeah,
around.
go ahead.
Yes, I am at my quartz. And I went Swiss with my quartz. So runner-up was the mundane stop and go.
Can I guess?
You already know. What?
No. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'll tell you if that's what I guessed or not.
Okay, so I have the mundane stop and go, which is a pretty cool Swiss quartz because in Switzerland, it is the official brand and watch that is displayed at all the subway stations. And the stop and go has this pretty cool idea that it ticks for 58 seconds around, stops at the 0-second mark for a second for the minute hand to change position, and then starts over. I think it's really cool. It's like lollipop second hand.
And it's jumping, right?
Yeah.
It's like you literally see it go click.
You see it jump from 1 minute to the next. Click. So that's really cool. And that one is about $1,000 Canadian, brand new. So $750 US, yeah. So that. But what I went with is a watch I actually own. It's a watch I really like. I liked it and not because I owned it, but it was something I really crushed on. And it's and I think they're having a moment. I think they have personality. It's a high accuracy quartz. I have a very high precision. It's a Longines VHP quartz, and mine is the blue dial that has like red indice on the second hand and the outside of it. It's like a dark blue navy dial. It is really great in terms of what it has to offer in terms of a movement. And brushing aside that it's Longines, I didn't really care that it was a Longines. I love what they put into that actual movement. And I think it has a lot to say versus some, I say, more affordable or cheaper mechanical movements. And you're saying, hey, you can get this really incredible quartz that a lot of people say, it's just a quartz. But if you understand how a high accuracy quartz works, like those Seiko 9F quartz movements, like if I could, and this list was too cheap in what it was, but I would have put a Citizen Chronomaster. Because the Citizen Chronomaster is Japanese super quartz perfection to me. And let me see if I can find it here, Citizen Chronomaster. Because that watch is one which makes it really cool. It's like among the very best that it has to offer. And Citizen's not known for high quality necessarily.
It looks very similar to a Sarb 33.
Yeah.
Snowflake.
A snowflake. But this watch is a high accuracy quartz that is accurate within 2 seconds a year.
God damn.
Yeah. Under 3,000 US bucks. So what makes it appealing to me, and I'll put it out there so maybe it's food for thought, you can actually buy for under $3,000 a watch that is the absolute best at what it does in terms of movement. There is no quartz movement in the world that is better than what they have to offer, or what Grand Seiko has to offer, or what Longines has to offer in those very high precision or high accuracy quartzes. You're like in the best right now.
So that's 2 seconds, you said, a year?
Yeah.
And your Longines?
Plus or minus 5 seconds a year. So what's cool about my Longines is it has a couple of also some pretty cool features to it. So the first thing about it, it's 41 millimeters. It has a crown guard. The water resistance leaves something to be desired because it's only 50 meters, like your
5 ATM.
Like my Speedmaster.
yeah.
Splash
Speedmaster
resistant.
is the best watch ever.
Yeah,
The water resistance is enough.
but how?
No more questions.
He's getting ready to fight.
Next topic.
Conversation over.
Friendship over.
Dmitri, please
Exactly.
put that knife away.
So the movement is
claw.
renowned for high degree of precision. So it's 5 plus or minus 5 seconds a year. It's 8, and so this was cool. If it hits an impact, high impact, immediately goes to the hands go to 12 to put itself in a protective mode.
Oh, that's very
But
cool.
it still keeps time. So then as soon as it recalibrates stuff,
So
it
it disconnects the
yes,
hands. That's
the
very
circuits. Yeah, does the same thing when it gets near a magnetic field. It all stops working that way and keeps time.
Very
Nevertheless.
cool.
Ever happened to you?
No, I'm too good with my watches. I work in a freaking office, dude.
Cool. You never hang out by magnetic fields?
I would just exactly.
I'll bring magnets. Like,
You never. You know how often during the day I'm in magnetic fields,
You would jump into an earthquake?
dude. I have a fucking Milgauss for magnetic fields. Think about it. But this watch also has end of life.
Can you find magnets?
Exactly.
It doesn't work like this. It's not like a metal detector.
So it uses a gear position detection system. So a long battery life. And here's the last thing. It has an end of life, end of energy indicator. Also has this really cool feature that if you're traveling, you just pull out the crown, it keeps ticking, and then you give it a good wind with your finger. You just wind it once, and it'll change 1 hour automatically. So it keeps the time perfect. The seconds keeps going, but the whole minute hand will go, and the hour hand will advance. And it'll advance or go back. So it allows you to change time zones very quickly and never even lose a second. And the last cool thing, which is very expensive, most watches, is a perpetual calendar.
what?
Yeah, a perpetual calendar. It has a perpetual calendar within the movement, so it allows you to keep perfect dates. It knows leap year. It knows 30, 31.
Did it give you the month and everything?
No, not the month. It's just a day. But it's
But
perpetual calendar because it can tell you the 29th day. Know when it's a leap year. It knows when it's 31
it
days.
knows the month.
What?
So it knows the month. It knows
It
when
knows the month, but
doesn't show it,
there's
it
no
knows.
indicator. Sorry.
And how do you adjust that? Like, how do you set it?
Oh, there's instructions. There's instructions on how to set it. Yeah.
It's very cool.
Sounds complicated.
The manual has 12 pages. Can you read 12 pages, Carl?
No. Is there images?
I think it's 12 pages. You know what?
Is there
I had the
images?
manual open here. It's 18 pages.
Too much.
Yeah, but the first one actually just says specs. So, yeah, I think you could read what it means. Yeah, I think it's about 12 pages. Not even. Asking for a lot.
Yes.
Take a break. You guys are banging on the table like crazy.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Throwing watches and stuff.
Am I or
There's
yes?
so many watches.
No,
Just-
well, I mean, no. We're getting excited, I think, and just like forgetting about all the things that are.
It's alcohol fault.
Yeah.
Yeah, alcohol.
So an hour and 4 minutes. Keep that in mind if you cut and paste.
Yeah, but that's why I took a pause, right? So that you can easily
Yeah.
cut it.
Yeah.
But,
So
Yeah.
essentially, yeah, it has also a perpetual calendar, which allows it to manage, if you set it up properly, 29th day in a leap year, 30 and 31 month by month. You don't have to set the thing. It's incredible. It really is
it's amazing.
great. And it's under, I can find it for use for $650 Canadian.
What is the model again?
The VHP, so the one that I have is the blue, yeah, but I have the blue dial one. So what's the one you have there?
What's the
Well,
VHP
it just
stand
says
for?
it says
Very-
Conquest VHP, but it doesn't really say much more than that.
No,
Let's
the
see what the model is.
VHP stands for very high precision. That's
Yeah,
what it stands
exactly. It says that. Very high precision.
So it stands for very precision. The one I have is, I don't have this one. I have a different color, but I'll lay it out. L is Longines in their model numbers.
Beautiful. Beautiful. watch.
L3.719.4.56.6. I don't have that one.
That's easy to
That
have-
makes like so much sense. Come on.
Longines.
It's logical.
So this one is the, I have the one you're going to find by putting in the number I just said is black dial. Mine's blue dial.
Yeah.
So that is my Swiss and quartz selection of
Cool.
the gang. Cool.
Nice watch. And you have it too,
Very
right?
nice.
So it makes sense that it went to your
So-
justifying your
So that
purchase.
puts me at exactly 3,000 Canadian in my watch roll.
Plus taxes and shipping.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'll go with my Swiss, but it's a Swiss with an American spirit.
Oh God! Did you just use the word spirit?
That's their marketing.
Oh my God! And this was supposed to come before your G-Shock.
Yeah.
Why?
I'll explain it after that.
Okay.
So I have an Hamilton khaki field, and just because I always loved field watches,
And you also love khaki, so it's perfect.
yeah, perfect. That's what I'm wearing today. Only that. I'll have khaki
My
shorts.
bed is made of khaki. It is remarkably robust.
It's very khaki.
There's a lot of chafing going on.
But yeah, I stayed with manual wind too. I was like trying to follow the trend on that one.
Was it because you couldn't fit into the $3,000 budget, or was it because you chose it like that?
I chose it like that. I was looking for a field watch and like as cheap-ish.
Why? Where did it fit? So my Nomos, I was saying everyday watch. He said the same thing about his Zin.
Yep.
Everyday watch.
So the Nomos is for like Monday to Friday office if we ever go back. Watch, right? And after that, when it's weekend, pretty much put the khaki field on because I love field watches. And for me, when I close my eyes and I look for a field watch, I have the 12 hours with the 24/1 indication in it. And it's the khaki field that just give you that, right? Comes on NATO's. There's all the colors, like all of them. Just ask for it. They probably have it. And they're pretty much affordable for what they are, right? I found one at like 500 Canadian use.
So this one is what size? Give us the model. Which Hamilton has great model numbers as well.
Yeah, so it's the H69429931. So black dial, green NATO, pretty much. And just normal case, right?
New or used?
That was used.
Mm-hmm.
But like the used and the new one, I think the 100 and $150-ish difference is not that much of a step. But one thing I was looking into it is there's two different calibers you can get for it.
So Dmitri just Googled khakis. It's just like
He's
pulled up
laughing.
khakis from like Walmart. Is this what we're looking at? I'm very confused.
Oh man, yeah. There's two caliber. There's a Netta movement that's cheaper, and there's the H50.
Okay.
Which is still an
So
ETA
the-
movement with an H on it, right? That's what they pretty much do.
Pretty much, right? So there's the ETA 2804-2. That's 44 hours, and there's the H50. That's 80 hours.
What's same size?
Same
What?
watch, same case, same everything.
And the price difference?
$200 ish. Not in the used market.
Is that the one that has the day of the week displayed?
No.
No,
Publication?
no date. I have the pictures here if you want
Yeah.
to look.
No. May I ask you a
Oh, yeah.
question? I don't know
It's
this.
36 or 38 millimeter, right?
It's 38.
38.
Yeah.
38.
It's 38. I wish that dial didn't say Hamilton on it. Anyway. But that
You
wasn't my
like
question.
Virgin dials. And
Well, if
naked
it's
one, right?
for a military watch, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Same. This
Military
is pretty much
watch?
why I was looking at Hamilton when I was looking for my watches, and that's why I went with Zin. It's very clean. It says Zin on it, but it's a shorter word and there's nothing else, right?
Yeah, I agree. If you look at Serica, which the guy, Matt Haverick with the man in his watch, he makes a khaki or a field watch, sterile dial. And anyway.
Yeah, but the only thing I can understand it's marketing, right? If there's a Vigilant filled with sterile dials, it's kind of hard at some point to know which one it is, right?
I was going to ask a question. The H movement, the H50 you said, is it manual line? Or is it an automatic?
They're all manual, no automatic. You can have an automatic, but it's going to say on the dial.
No, thank you.
No?
No, I want a manual line.
Oh, okay. You said thank you. I was like, no. I was
No,
like,
thank
I'm
you.
pretty sure I saw the pictures.
Oh, no, thank you for me. I like it more manual line. I find
Yeah, me
it more
too.
true to
But I was looking online on some forums, and people are arguing which one's better. And what I was reading is the H50, so the 80 hours, it's harder to come by. So sometimes you have to wait for it. Dealers don't have it and stuff like that.
I think the H50 is in their pilot watch. They have a
Probably.
khaki field. I've seen it. It's the one I actually like it because it's like a tan numerals. It's like, and it has the.
But yeah, so the reason I went with this watch is the Nomos was going from Monday to Friday, so while working with it, and my Hamilton khaki field would have been my weekend watch, right? So something holding on the weekend, and at the end I had like 500 and some change to buy another watch, and I was like, I need a watch when I do, like I wash dishes, when I do stuff around the house, or like
I need
give
a
it-
watch to wash dishes.
Yeah,
Did you
Like,
hear
of
this?
course. Yeah, like
What is your shower watch?
This is why Dmitri is saying do it. This is why, because he has a watches.
Because he has to buy a new watch every few months.
I'm removing my watch when I do the dishes. Literally, like I don't wear.
Then
any
why do
watch.
you need a watch But to do dishes.
because this one I won't remove it. I don't give it a damn, right? It's a metal G-Shock
Well, that's what you get a G-Shock and wear it.
because you don't give a shit.
Okay. So you're wearing that Hamilton, and you go, oh, wait a minute. It's dishes time. Give me my G-Shock. It's
No.
time to swap it out.
No, if I do like chores, if I clean the house and all those things, I'll have the G-Shock on me, right? But if it's just a weekend, I'm just doing weekend things, I'll have the Hamilton
You do dishes on the weekend.
every day, pretty much. But yeah.
That's
Pretty
good.
much.
That's a good rule.
It's a good rule. Okay. So there's this one I really like as well. This is the
Which one is that?
The Pilot. The
Oh,
Pilot
that's nice. I
Pioneer
like that case a lot.
Yeah, this is a really good little mechanical G. This one is
You
small.
should. What is the name of that model for the people that
Pilot.
are listening?
Yeah, I said it. The Pilot Pioneer.
Oh, Pilot
So,
Pioneer.
yeah,
Okay.
this is the Hamilton H7641993K1. It's a khaki Pilot Pioneer.
That's a
Has
nice watch.
good vintage flair to it. The one I was saying before was the Hamilton khaki Pilot Auto Day Date. I'm not sure. I feel this has the 80-hour power reserve that you were talking about as well.
H50 movement.
I feel it does. I'm going to check right now. 42 millimeter, 100 meter water resistant pilot
I
watch.
doubt that they would fit 80-hour power reserve in a 38 millimeter.
They did. That's
In
what
the
they're
khaki
saying.
field that you were
Yeah.
talking about, they have a version that's a 38 millimeter with a 80-hour power reserve.
And I think it's called the khaki mechanical. Yeah. This one is the H40. So it's a modified ETA 2834, like you said. Sizable
Nice. A lot of nice watches.
80-hour power reserve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you said, Dmitri, it has an H cutout.
You just cut the H out. It's just an ETA.
That's right.
So yeah, that's my my Swiss watch,
choice.
and that's the reason I have all my 3 watches.
It's a good choice.
a very good
so
choice.
you had, so summarize, you have,
The Nomos Club Camper 38
yeah,
as my week watch, the Hamilton Khaki Field as my weekend watch, and the
Casio
G-Shock
for dishes.
Full Metal
Very
for
dishes.
dishes.
The dish watch.
Dimitri, what's your Swiss?
So when I was first trying to guess your watch, Kevin, there, I actually thought that your quartz was going to be the Hamilton Ventura electric quartz, which is a beautiful watch, and it's in a good price bracket.
I was meaning to ask you guys, when we said quartz, it's because it's not a quartz.
Well, it's an electric quartz, right?
It has no quartz. That's the
Does
point.
it not? I thought it had.
No,
quartz.
it has a battery that powers a gear train. It powers a gear train. There's no actual quartz. That's the point. It's an electric watch.
Okay.
And that's what I was saying. And you know what? You're absolutely right. I would have gone.
Because I thought it was a quartz. That's why I was. I mean, I didn't spend too much time looking into it, but I
It's an
read
electric
quickly,
watch.
and I thought that there was an electric quartz, kind of like the spring drive, right? Where it's a mechanical
Hybrid.
quartz. Yeah,
So
I thought it was a hybrid as well.
So what it does, the spring drive, the difference is it's a hybrid movement. And what is different is that the gear train that is mechanical feeds a battery that does the regulation of the timekeeping. So it's both. So there's no escapement, which is a really difficult, or not difficult, it's a breaking point to mechanical watches. You know, the thing goes tick, 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 right, escaping. That doesn't exist. They have that with an actual quartz, while the gear train is the mechanical piece. However, a Hamilton electric watch has no actual quartz, from my understanding.
I'm sure at some point we'll do a electric watch
We'll
special
have to talk
episode.
about this at some point.
Yeah.
Once in the future podcast. So, for my last watch, the Swiss watch, I decided to go with a dress watch, and the one I still have about $1,000 budget left.
So there's no quartz. It's just the battery that powers an actual transmission.
We're looking at a photograph.
A photograph,
movement.
yeah. So look,
From
there's a
Hamilton.
battery, and here's the train. There's no actual quartz.
Right.
Pretty cool. We'll talk
Yeah,
about it.
very cool.
sometime.
We'll have to talk about it at some point. 'Cause it's a very interesting mechanism.
But the Hamilton Ventura is.
Yeah.
But they do have a quartz version.
Yeah, but
the electric
it's not the
one.
same.
Exactly. You're right. Yeah.
It is not the same value. I kind of wanted to, like, when I was choosing my 3 watches, I wanted to go with watches that give a very good value. Right. Such as that they will maintain what they have, not lose, and then you can always swap them for something else without much of a loss. So the cost of ownership is pretty little.
Yeah.
Not that you necessarily would want to do this, but it's just if you wanted to, there's always that option.
I agree.
So my watch is a Swiss watch, and I wanted to go with a vintage. It's gonna be the only vintage in my list. I wanted to go with like a 60s, 70s vintage Omega Seamaster maybe, or a Zenith, or an IWC, something like you already have, right? And for $1,000 budget, you can find a decent quality, and you can get an automatic version. The very small small watches, right? Usually like 38 millimeters max.
I paid my Omega all in less than 13, and mine is.
And that's an automatic.
And mine is
perfect condition, with
so
a metal bracelet.
Exactly.
So yeah, you can easily get you can get an IWC or a Zenith easily.
Sure.
For that price, and it's nice to own a watch of that brand. That watch guaranteed will not lose any value whatsoever.
Low maintenance as well.
Brand recognition, right?
And they used to make them very small, right? Back then, the dress watches were like 38 millimeters, super thin, very easy to wear.
I think they're small, like 34, 33.
Well, yeah.
Their sports watches were 30. A Seamaster is a sports watch.
Right.
Like 37.
But the one you have,
so small.
The one you have is
Seamaster, 37.
37.
37.
Yeah, 37 is a good size.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. So, I mean, there's not much to talk about it, right? Because there's a lot of different types of watches you can find on the Chrono 24.
Right.
You just have to kind of, I guess, do some research to make sure you don't find a dud.
Yeah.
You don't pay for something that's terrible. It's not a Franken watch or anything like that.
I suggest if ever
just
you
research a little bit.
Yeah, you research. Also, if you have a good watchmaker here, locally, and you buy from someone who's a verified dealer, someone who's reputable, look at the movement, let them show you pictures, and when you get it, take it in to your guy and just have him take a look, pay the whatever it is. If you have a good, like mine will do it for free because I've done enough business with them, but if you do...
they'll do it for free for you.
Yeah.
Because me, they don't even remember me.
But if you go to them and you get it checked out, and then as long as you buy someone that has a authenticity, guaranteed, you look. And most of them, I dealt with someone who gave me a bad thing, and he was obviously a watch shop online, and he was very adamant about no, don't post a bad review. If you're unhappy, just send it back. I'll give you back your money. It was very, very common. That was the Jaget Lecoutre I bought, the one that was the square one that I had. Anyway, I'll show you guys a picture later. It was just beautiful vintage one, but it had problems. And he's like, yeah, it works fine. And I was like, I brought it in. The guy goes, I wouldn't keep this. So I sent it back. And the guy was so, no, don't open a case in PayPal. I'll send you back your money. Here's a shipping label. Send it back to me. Paid for it. No problem. He cared very much about his score.
Reputation.
His score, exactly.
I mean, score is pretty important for sure.
Yeah. So anyone above 99.5, you're good. They're going to want to keep that score.
For sure.
Yeah.
So, that's pretty much it. So my three watches will be the Zen 556, right, which is a daily watch, I think, for me. It's kind of very similar to a khaki field. Honestly, I was considering picking one. I really like the Murph, not because of the connection to the movie, but because I like the cathedral hands on the. I think they look amazing on a khaki field watch.
Beautiful watch.
I love that the dial indices are not white. I love that they're dark. They're vintage.
Yeah. So I love that specific version of the watch. I think I would have chosen that one if I didn't choose the 556. But then I decided to just take a look at the 556, and then when I saw the specs again, I just had no other choice but to pick it.
I think that your dress watch pairs very well with it because it's very tooly. It's very everything. But if ever you need, you put on that vintage Omega Seamaster. You're ready for a tux.
You know what? The 556 on the leather band looks perfect as a dress watch too.
Daily watch. Yeah.
So guys, it was the 3 watch, $3,000 Canadian. I'm guessing next time we'll go for 5 or 10. We'll discuss that outside of the podcast and come back with you guys.
Depends how fast the inflation is.
Interesting story about that later on.
Yeah. So thanks guys for the podcast and cheers.
Cheers, guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you on episode 4.